Hello. Hopefully, everybody's enjoying their food. My name is Tanya, and I am the current president of Student Congress, and this is Whitney Cunningham, the current president of Campus Activities. We'll be the mistresses of ceremony this afternoon. On behalf of GRCC, I would like to take this opportunity to welcome all of you here for the leadership banquet today. We are here to recognize students, staff, and faculty who show exemplary leadership on campus and out in our community, as well as highlight some of the many accomplishments throughout the year.
For example, we've had the opportunity to partner with local museums and allow free access for GRCC students. Also, Student Congress, in partnership with Campus Activities, has opened a successful student-run food pantry that serves 44 students and their families. We would like to recognize everyone for their hard work and dedication throughout the year. We've had a wonderful year with many accomplishments, and we couldn't have done it without the talented faculty, staff, and students.
It is my pleasure to welcome my mentor, Tina Hoxie, Dean of Student Affairs, to give our welcoming remarks. Tina?
I will be the small person sitting in the big chair up here. I kind of feel like I'm in a story, you know. It kind of feels like I'm a little bit of a book. It is an honor for me to welcome everyone to the annual Student Leadership Recognition Program. You know, as we approach the end of the semester, this is a very special time for all of us, for our faculty and staff, especially for our students, as we take time to celebrate, to recognize, and to reflect on everything that's been accomplished. Because certainly there are amazing things that happen as a result of everybody's effort. One of the things in thinking about what I wanted to maybe make some comments about briefly this afternoon about the leadership experience, I know that in leadership you have to be willing to step up. You have to be willing to take on a variety of key roles, and certainly that shapes you as a person, it shapes your student organization, it shapes our athletic teams, the services that we provide, and GRCC as an institution. Because you have committed your time and you have become involved, a great deal has been accomplished, and many, many things can happen. Now, if you know me, I like to tell a story if I can, and one of the things I was thinking of is I had an opportunity to actually be on vacation a couple weeks ago at the ocean, and one thing about living in Michigan that's wonderful is that we have so much water around us in terms of the lake and the river, and so you know, being near the water I think sometimes is a little bit a part of who we are too. I was reminded of the story of the little boy that's at the ocean and he's throwing the starfish in, and someone asks him, you know, this is a futile, why are you continuing to do that? And because it won't make a difference, and he indicates to the person as he throws one in, but I saved that one, didn't I? I thought about when I was there, I started to collect shells. Now, you know, if you know me too, you know, I can't just keep it simple, right? So I decided, I don't know why, but I was going to collect one particular type of shell. You know, as I looked along the shoreline, and we think about our leadership as things wash up at our feet, and as they have over the number of years that you've been at GRCC, it can be both overwhelming and it can also be an opportunity. In this instance, I took the opportunity to pick out one particular shell, and I decided I was going to spend my week collecting that one particular one. But as you look, and you look at all your opportunities, and hopefully, and I think you've done this at GRCC in your leadership roles, you see lots of other things as you're looking. When I got a closer look and I focused just on that one shell, when I got down closer, I saw that shell in different sizes, different colors. It was the same variety. I got pretty good at it. I could even see it upside down. When I walked along the shore, I saw the shell upside down and I could recognize it. And I think for your experiences that you've had here at the college, you have the ability to recognize so much more because you've had this leadership experience and because you have, what I said, stepped up and become involved. So focusing has been a good thing. It's been a good thing for you, it's been a good thing for your development as a leader, and it's been a good thing for the college as well. And I think there's been certainly a number of people that have helped you along that journey. One of the things that I also, as you work with things, you talk with other people. Now, as I was walking, and I went out as much as I could, because doing things takes time. And if you're going to get better at it, you sometimes have to spend morning, afternoon, and evening. You got to be out there the best time to get the best shells. And you've done that as well. Now, I'm not a shy person, and believe me, I did not have a T-shirt on that said, "I'm collecting this shell, would somebody help me?" That wasn't a T-shirt that I was wearing. But people started to ask me what I was collecting, and I showed them in my cup what I was collecting. Well, then a couple people decided to help me. You know, one particular person didn't quite understand the shell I was collecting, and he kept going and collecting this shell that I was not collecting and kept bringing them over to me. But again, even though I wasn't collecting it, I learned from him and talked with him about what his experiences were, and I think that happens to you. You reach out to other people in your leadership experiences, and you develop friendships. You develop partnerships with other people. I mean, he gave me the idea that when I go home, I should get some kind of a lamp and glue these shells on this lamp. I thought, well, I hadn't thought about that. I was just going to put them in a jar. Or maybe they'd never make their way out of the Ziploc bag that, or you know, the gallon Ziploc bag that I now have with that. The piece of not being alone, and it's about engaging, it's about with your advisors, your faculty, your fellow students. You've all worked together, and you've probably created that lamp already. And there's much more to create. What I want to finish with on the very last day, because I don't give up easily, I'm out there still looking for that perfect shell. And it's good to look for the perfect thing, but because along the way you pick up so many other things, I'm walking along, and a person comes up to me and says, "Are you looking for shells?" I said, "Yeah, that's what I'm looking for." He goes, "Would you like to have this one?" It was the largest perfect shell of the exact ones I was collecting, and he gave it to me, just out of the blue. The significance, I think, is that leadership is a responsibility, and it's not easy. It can be hard. I can tell you my neck was killing me from looking down for 1 week looking for these shells. And your neck along the way, I think sometimes some muscles that you use might be different, whether as an athlete or what you do. But the piece is that you never know out of the blue when you're going to receive something. And that was by far the largest shell and the perfect shell that I received. As you leave GRCC, many of you will be graduating. We're very proud of you, and you pursue your goals. We're looking for great things. As you take on with you these leadership experiences that you've had, and you have the ability to build that lamp or do what you want to do. For others that are coming back, we look forward to that time that you'll spend more time collecting with us, and we'll create more things. Those that are graduating, I hope you will come back. I hope you'll become part of our alumni association. You'll decide to mentor, or you'll decide to volunteer with us, but you'll continue to stay connected to GRCC. My wish for all of you in leadership is out of the blue, those gifts will come. Be open to that and enjoy that leadership experience, and I know you're well on your way. Thank you.
Please bear with me. I've got to get back to where I should be. All right. One thing that I forgot to couple of people I forgot to introduce is Trustee Handelin and Chair Verberg. They're sitting right here. I'd like to give them a round of applause. Thank you guys for coming. I am pleased to begin our award program at this time. I would ask that all of our presenters and award recipients please enter the stage to my left and exit to my right. The first award is Outstanding Biology Award. I would now like to introduce Dr. Matt Douglas and Dr. Pam Loretto, faculty member in the Biological Science Department, who will be presenting our first award of this afternoon for Outstanding Biology Students of the Year. So Dr. Matt Douglas and Dr. Pam Loretto, please come to the stage.
Well, I'm Pam Loretto, and this is my colleague Matt Douglas, as you were just introduced to. We're professors in the biology department, and we're also the co-advisors for the Biodiversity Club. And so on behalf of the Department of Biological Sciences, we're pleased to award two of our students, Kelsey Heisman and Elaine Shake, the Outstanding Biology Student of the Year Award for the 2011-12 academic year. The following criteria were considered in the selection process: breadth of biological study, the cumulative GPA, their extracurricular contributions to GRCC, community outreach skills, and leadership skills. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Kelsey here, and then Matt is going to tell you why Elaine is deserving of this award. So Kelsey's one of our biology majors, and she has taken a number of courses in the department. She's been able to maintain a GPA of 3.75 while at the same time working 30 plus hours per week to support herself and put herself through school, and we think that that's a really big accomplishment. Kelsey is also a student worker in our department, where she helps to prep for the laboratories, and she's also worked with me in taking care of the greenhouse. She's a tutor in the Biology Learning Center, where numerous of our students have benefited from her knowledge. Kelsey is co-president of the Biodiversity Club. As a student leader, she helps run the meetings, as well as organize field trips and volunteer activities. As a representative of the Biodiversity Club, she's logged numerous volunteer hours working with the West Michigan Environmental Action Council's Rain Garden and also the Land Conservancy of West Michigan. Kelsey was recently awarded a very prestigious undergraduate research grant for the environment from Pierce Cedar Creek Institute. She, along with her research partner, Alex Grafe, who's also here today, will be using molecular biology techniques to answer environmental questions about the invasive hybrid cattail. And so I'd like to mention that this award, this grant that Kelsey's received for her project, this is the first grant from Pierce Cedar Creek Institute that's actually using molecular biology techniques. And that really is quite a big deal, both for GRCC and for these students. And I'm very proud that I'll be mentoring her in that project. So Kelsey will be continuing her education this coming fall at Northern Michigan University, where she'll be continuing as a biology major and hopes also to continue working with wetland plants, and particularly interested in helping to control invasive species. So congratulations, Kelsey. We're very proud of you.
My name is Matt Douglas, so they call me Dr. Matt. And I've had a number of really phenomenal students here at GRCC, many of whom have gone on to be doctors and lawyers, et cetera, PhD programs. And anyway, I had Elaine Shake here a year ago, correct? And she always had hundreds on my tests. And if I ever gave extra credit, it was 110. And I'd never had anybody have such high scores consistently in my classes, because they're always thought to be gut classes, really difficult. So I'm always curious as to where my students come from, and I said, where did you go to high school? And she said, I didn't, I was homeschooled. And I said, really? Because I had homeschooled my daughter for a year, and it was difficult with my daughter. So I said, you are really well prepared, and you're not asocial, like the stereotypical homeschool person is thought to be. And so I said, well, how old are you? And she said, I'm 16. And so I went, 16? And she said, 16. And so she's setting a curve on all my tests for the past 10 years, and I just thought, this is unbelievable. And then I started to delve into her background. It turned out that she raises goats, kids. And she raises a lot of them, and she wins a number of awards for her extracurricular activities. And so she was always busy going to take care of her kids. And I always joked about she's kidding around, but you know, she really did take care of her kids. And I think at one point she had a couple dozen of them in the basement of her house, which I found hard to believe, but that's what she told me. So beyond that, she was active in the Biodiversity Club. She is also co-president, along with Kelsey. And I just didn't know where she found time at that age to do anything, because most teenagers, you know, one thing is plenty, and I've had 7 kids, so I should know. She just was always excelling in everything she did. She won this year, along with Kelsey, the prestigious Pierce Cedar Creek Award at the Institute. That's a $7,000 equivalent scholarship. And she's going to be studying temperature regulation in dragonflies and damselflies. She's going to determine how they split up the temperature environment. We call it thermal niche partitioning because it's more scientific. But basically, she's going to be comparing how they do these different thermoregulatory strategies. And she also is a Taekwondo instructor. She is a second-degree black belt in Taekwondo. So I'm just going to add on some more here. She's a private tutor. She plays piano, flute, mandolin, and violin, excuse me, it's easy to forget. And beyond all this, she had a rather low grade point of 3.967. So I don't know what kind of a brain she has, frankly. It's got to be more than left brain or right brain, because she doesn't make any sense. Musically talented, mathematically talented. She can write really well. She does great essays. She remembers factual material. Whenever I ask her to do something, it's done. And I always ask my students to send me text, you know, to remind me of things. She's always religious about that. So it's just a phenomenal, you know, I've just had a phenomenal time with Elaine. So I'm very happy to present this co-award to her. Okay. Thank you. You did a great job. You always do. Pardon? Yes.
Okay, I'd just like to take this moment to say a few words. First of all, I'd really like to thank the biology department and Dr. Loretto and Dr. Matt for presenting Kelsey and I with these awards. I'm really honored. I came into GRCC thinking it was just going to be a stepping stone, and I couldn't wait to move on. And these have been the best 2 years of my life. I have really grown a lot as a person, and especially in the field of biology, I have just been able to experience so much and come so far. And Dr. Pam and Dr. Matt, I really appreciate you guys for being my mentor. You guys are my heroes, and you guys have come to mean so much to me. So thank you so much. I really appreciate all that you've done for us.
I also would like to thank the biology department, and I would really like to thank Dr. Matt and Dr. Pam. They've really helped me accomplish the goals that I've set for myself, and they've also helped me in so many ways other than just scholastically. I don't know, but, thank you guys so much. You both mean a lot to me, and you've helped me so much. I'm not gonna cry, I'm gonna laugh if anything.
Next, we would like to ask Professor Kevin Dobrif, Chair of the Music Department, to come to the stage to present our Academic Achievement Awards in Music.
Good afternoon. And I realized too late that I should have brought my reading glasses, but I'll do my best. It's a great honor for me to be here representing the music department, and I'm joined by 4 really fantastic students who I've had the pleasure of knowing for really too short a time. And this afternoon I'd like to tell you about the 2 awards that we're going to present. The first award is the Emerging Music Student Academic Leadership Award. Let me tell you about that award. This award is designed to recognize emerging student leaders in the music department. Nominees must have been involved with the music department for a minimum of 2, no more than 3 semesters, while contributing to the music department as leaders. This award recognizes current initiative and contributions, as well as future potential. The nominees must be a current GRCC music major. They must be active and involved in a major ensemble, such as the college choir or the orchestra, guitar ensemble, and so on. They must contribute to the success of the ensemble in ways that exceed musical performance. And they must seek to assist and encourage other students in their musical growth. And they also must have distinguished themselves in academic performance. They must have a minimum cumulative GPA of 3.0. This afternoon, we have 2 young ladies who have been nominated and will receive the Emerging Music Student Academic Leadership Award. Sarah Epole was nominated by Mike Gillen, our Director of Bands, and this is what Mr. Gillen has to say. Sarah is a piano major but plays horn in wind ensemble. She has worked very hard to improve her horn playing and is truly the leader in the horn section. For those of you who are not familiar with the horn, that's the French horn. It's the instrument that has the bell pointed backwards when you're looking at them, and that's what Sarah plays. And let me continue there. Okay. Sarah is also performing with our community wind ensemble, the Grand River Winds, and will be performing with them this evening at the St. Cecilia Music Center. Is that correct? Okay, I got that right. And then there's additional support from Dr. Carol Van Ranwyck. Sarah is doing outstanding work in music theory and oral comprehension. And then support from Dr. Deborah DeWitt. I also support Sarah Epole's nomination for the Emerging Student Leader Award. A few things about Sarah that I would add as we consider her nomination is her work in piano ensemble class, where she is a definite leader, and her work in organizing piano and voice students for performance in local retirement communities. Sarah Epole. And then our second Emerging Music Student Academic Leadership Award winner is another Sarah. This is Sarah Worldeman, and Sarah is all in black over here. And this is the words from Carol Van Ranwyck. Dr. Van Ranwyck was her nominator. She says, Sarah Wilderman is doing outstanding work in music theory and oral comprehension. These are the two really tough courses or courses of study that we offer here in the music department. A lot of students end up dropping out because they're unable to complete those classes. And then support from Professor Brian Morris for Carol's nomination of Sarah Wilderman. As the Emerging Music Student Academic Award, Mr. Morris says she is a conscientious student in her solo guitar studies as well as in the guitar ensemble. And I would like to add that Sarah Wilderman is that student who defines quiet leadership by example, which is no easy task. Sarah? Now, I know I'm supposed to have something physical to give them, and I think they're here. Right here? There we go. Okay, so thank you, I was a little concerned. The Emerging Music Student Leadership Award is presented to Sarah Epole for Outstanding Academic Achievement in Music at Grand Rapids Community College, April 13th, 2012. Sarah? Whoops. Okay. And then this Emerging Music Student Leadership Award is presented to Sarah Wilderman for Outstanding Academic Achievement in Music at Grand Rapids Community College, April 13th, 2012. Sarah, congratulations. Okay, we have one other award actually two other awards, but one other award criteria. This is let's try that again. I sounded like Elmer Fudd. Distinguished Music Student Academic Leadership Award. And these are being awarded to two students. The first one is Emily Scheib, and that nominator was Dr. Stephen Barton, who is our Director of Choral Activities, who was unable to be here today because he has a choir rehearsal. Emily is a current music major who loves to perform and will be presented in her third honors recital performance during the winter semester. Emily takes a very active leadership role in the college choir, in which she has performed for 2 years. Emily is extremely intellectually curious, and she has dedicated her time to learning mastery of the IPA, which is the International Phonetic Alphabet. This allows voice majors to sing in just about any language, even though they may not be able to speak the language. Emily conducts thorough research in her vocal study and for the concert review essays in music performance class. Emily's GPA places her among the better overall academic students in our department. Emily Scheib is an outstanding academic and applied music student at GRCC. In the vocal studio, she has distinguished herself as an outstanding performer, having performed in the music department's prestigious honors recital, which showcases our finest performers, in 3 out of 4 semesters in which she has studied voice at GRCC. She was the second place winner in the adult female vocal category of the National Association of Teachers of Singing in Michigan, and the state competition was in November of 2011, which was held at Eastern Michigan University. She has also participated in the Opera Grand Rapids Collegiate Vocal Competition held in Grand Rapids and the Nicholas Lauren Vocal Competition held in Holland, Michigan. Emily has also distinguished herself in the classroom, maintaining a 3.5 GPA during her time at GRCC. Emily plans to graduate next year. Thank goodness we get to keep her here for another year, with her Associate of Arts degree in music, and to audition at several four-year institutions with the dream of pursuing a career in opera. And then a little bit of support here from Dr. Deborah DeWitt. I also support Dr. Barton's nomination of Emily Scheib for the Distinguished Student Leader Award. She is also doing excellent work in music history and contributes in positive ways to class and in support of her fellow students. So let's have a round of applause for Emily Scheib. And then I get to present this to you. I think I'll do it in that order. Congratulations. And then the second award winner for the Distinguished Music Academic Leadership Award is Mr. Patterson McKinney. I've known Patterson for quite a few years. He is actually doing a double major in music performance and in recording technology, which is extremely rare. I don't think we've ever had anybody do both of those at the same time, and he has distinguished himself in the following ways. His nominator was Professor Mike Gillen, who's our director of bands. Patterson has shown leadership for 2 years as percussion section leader. He has played in Wind Ensemble, Grand River Winds, the Kent Philharmonia Orchestra, and Percussion Ensemble. Patterson is always prepared for rehearsal and maintains perfect attendance. He has embraced the role of percussion section leader and keeps the sections he plays in on task. Patterson's academic work is also stellar, and he has been invaluable as a role model to all music students. And then some support from Dr. Carol Van Ranwyck. Patterson has done impressive work in composition lessons. Dr. Van Ranwyck teaches private composition lessons to our students who are interested in being composers. And he was at the top of his class in both theory and oral comprehension. And then support from Dr. Deborah DeWitt. I would like to support the nomination of Patterson McKinney for the Distinguished Music Student Academic Leadership Award. Patterson is consistently excellent in all of his work in both music history and piano techniques. Academically, he's terrific. I just had the pleasure of meeting with him for his paper consultation in music history. He has shown excellent research skills and is a student who grasps the details of complicated subjects. And then I would like to add that Patterson will be leaving us at the end of this year, and he'll be transferring to the University of Michigan, where he will be majoring in percussion performance, correct? And we're very sad to lose Patterson, but we're very excited that he'll be moving on to the University of Michigan. Patterson McKinney. Thank you very much.
I am pleased to introduce for the Social Science Awards, Professor Mike DeVivo and Dr. Robert Hendershot, faculty members in the Social Science Department, to present our Social Science Award.
Thank you very much. First, let me ask Bob to introduce the recipients of the research paper competition. Go ahead, Bob.
Thank you. Hello, I'm Bob Hendershot. I teach world history in the social science department, and it's my pleasure today to introduce the winners of this year's social science department research paper competition, which is something that the social science department's been doing for several years now. And we get more applicants each year, thanks to the support of all of the faculty members, and also to the offices of Dean Laurie Chesley and Associate Dean Michael Vargo for funding the competition and for always being supportive of such scholastic efforts. The creation of the competition was designed to reflect excellence in the field of research and writing in social science classes, of which much is done, and the vast majority of it is of excellent worth. Perhaps no other assignment can so well draw together all of the skills that we value in our students and scholars, right? Research papers lead our students to seek out information, to digest information, to analyze it, to critically evaluate it, and then to craft their own interpretation of what it means. What is the causation of a particular phenomena? What is its significance to human behavior and experience? And really, that's what's so wonderful to see in the research papers that our students produce. Well, anyway, this year we had about a dozen applications or submissions to the competition, and they were all excellent. And I'm not just saying that. I mean, they really were wonderful. And a committee of faculty members from social science was charged with evaluating them, which was a difficult process. But ultimately, at the end of the day, we had to settle on 3 winners. And I'm very proud that they were all chosen. They are all people who produced their research papers in the course of history classes. And they're all here with us today. And so I'll call them up, and we have a certificate for each of them, and then each first, second, and third place winner has won a humble honorarium. And I also have a small gift, right, for each of them, and it's a small pen that says the Grand Rapids Community College on it. We thought that was an appropriate symbol for for the victors in the competition, right, as some of the finest writers and researchers in our campus community. So, our first place winner is Megan Esparza, who for the World History 1500 class produced a wonderful research piece entitled Slave Messiahs, the Centrality of Religious Providence in the Three Servile Wars in the Mediterranean. A wonderful piece, our first place winner. Please help me to welcome and award Megan Esparza. Our second place winner is Brian Wooden. For the World History, or the HS 293 seminar class on World War I and the interwar period, Brian produced a piece, a research piece entitled "The Pen is Mightier Than the Sword: Technology and Ideology in the Interwar Period." Again, right, as our second place winner, right, a wonderful piece, and is he here? Excellent. Yeah. And finally, our third place winner is Anna Emig. And again, for the seminar on World War I and the interwar period, Anna produced a very thoughtful and nuancedly argued piece entitled Technology and Ideology During the Great War and the Interwar Period. And once again, a wonderful example of the research and writing done here at the college. Well, that's it for the research papers, but I'll turn it back over to my colleague from social science, Professor Mike DeVivo, to talk about our scholarship recipients this year.
Thanks, Bob. Thanks a lot. The Department of Social Sciences administers the Elizabeth Knapp Scholarship, which is awarded to a student that has engaged in exemplary work in the social sciences, nominated by a faculty member in the social sciences. And this year, the scholarship is awarded to Michael Viteles Lanuza. And Michael will be pursuing studies in anthropology. Michael, please come and accept your award. Congratulations. Thank you very much. Okay. You can sit down. It's okay. If you want to stay up here, you can. It's up to you. Okay. And presently, I have awards for the students that have been tasked with engaging in participation in Gamma Theta Upsilon. So I'll ask the 5 students, you know who you are, to please come and stand up here so I don't have to call you each one at a time. And each of these students has really engaged in very solid academic study for at least about a year. In fact, 3 of them, Sarah, Cara, and Lindsay, the first 3 here, were involved in the study abroad experience to South Africa this past summer. And I think they would all say that it was a life-changing experience in many ways, and they came up, or they returned to the U.S. as leaders, essentially. And so for their work, for all of these students' work in essentially engaging in the service of geography to the college and the local community in many ways, they are awarded the Lambda Epsilon Academic Service Award. Cara, Lindsay, Sarah, thank you. Wait, there's more. There's more. Hold on. I should probably tell you it's been a great year for Gamma Theta Upsilon at Grand Rapids Community College. Not only did the students that were involved in the South Africa study abroad become very much involved in the program here, but it was arranged that we would be able to award Nick Kristoff, who was part of our diversity lecture series, honorary membership into our chapter of Lambda Epsilon. And as you know, Nick Kristoff is a luminary in journalism, and he also engaged in the delivery of special sessions at the Association of American Geographers annual meeting this year. I should indicate to you that the experience, I guess, that the three students had in the study abroad course was very captivating. And I think they were finding themselves inspired by the field as well as their studies in geography. And they engaged in the publicization or generating publicity about the plight of girls in sub-Saharan Africa concerning their need to become educated. This was something that was done last year as well by students in Gamma Theta Upsilon, and they raised funds to make a difference in the lives of not just a few girls, but they raised funds to fully fund the education of 9 girls in sub-Saharan Africa through a number of activities. And it's this type of global citizenship that is an imperative. In our studies in the social sciences, we have learned that the education of girls and women is an imperative, and it actually ameliorates disparities between and among socioeconomic classes in less developed countries, while also reducing the likelihood of conflict. So in a sense, even though we have conflict in the world today, I now have a son in Afghanistan who is in the Marine Corps. I'm hoping that through the education of girls and women, perhaps through your efforts, my grandchildren or great-grandchildren won't find themselves in the same conflict, because essentially this matter of educating girls and women is in many ways a national security issue. And it's not only the right thing to do, but it benefits us all. It is truly a very important component of global citizenship. So each of these students are also receiving the Lambda Epsilon Award in global citizenship. I should mention that because of their field studies work, oh yeah, there's more. They didn't know this. Because of their work in field studies this term, they are each entitled to a Geography Lives Field Study Scholarship Award. And although it might seem like everybody's getting an award, I should probably mention to you that this is really a special group of people. They're really making a difference for humanity. And I have 2 additional awards that I'm going to offer here. And one happens to be the Gamma Theta Upsilon Annual Award for Excellence in Geography, which is the student with the best academic record. It's an international award, Brian Wooden. You're really collecting them there, aren't you, Brian? I mean, my goodness. Maybe, well, I don't know if anybody else is going to have anything for you. And there is one last award. As we look at this matter of leadership at this leadership banquet, I should probably accentuate that we do have a leadership award that emphasizes the notion of transformational leadership. A transformational leader is one who motivates us to do more than we originally intended to do here in the benefit of humanity. Gandhi, King are just examples of transformational leaders. And here we have an example of a transformational leader that worked tirelessly behind the scenes, making things work, making a difference for humanity as she essentially got things together to raise funds with the assistance of her colleagues to provide for the education of these girls in Africa and essentially save their lives. So Kara Apadaka, the Lambda Upsilon Leadership Award this year is awarded to you. I could go on and on and on and talk about things here. I know you don't want to hear me, but these are really special people, and they certainly deserve to be recognized for their efforts because they are among the few that really make a difference. Thank you.
I would now like to introduce Coach Charles Wells, the athletic director, men's football defensive coordinator, TJ Carnegie, men's basketball head coach, Chip Well, women's volleyball coach, to present our athletic awards.
I'd like to first thank the student body for having us be a part of this, and it's a great honor to be back once again at the banquet. This is an outstanding place that a lot of our future leaders are going to come from. The funny part of this was that yesterday I had lunch with one of those individuals that was a part of our athletic department years ago, and that person is Sarah Sleminski, which is Judge Sleminski. And she came through this athletic program and did a lot of great things thereafter. So we've had a lot of great leaders come out of this building many, many years over the years, okay? Number one, I'm going to start out with my basketball coach, and I'm going to give the floor to him, and he's going to present the first award to one of our young men.
Thank you very much, Charlie. I'm honored to be able to present the Merle Storer Award to Alex Lyle, who was one of our captains this year, great leader for our program. We had a surprisingly successful season, and I think a lot of that had to do with the leadership and the communication and the hard work of Alex Lyle. So he is most deserving of this award.
Our next award will be given out by Chip Will, our volleyball coach.
Thank you. It's an honor and privilege to be up here to help represent the female athletic program, the Donald Black Award. The one thing that maybe is a little bit different with our athletic coaches here compared to the academic side of things is we're actually able to go out and recruit some of the individuals that are going to be part of our program. And the one thing that we always look for in recruiting some of the best kids in the area is people that are going to make a difference and make the people around them better. And that was the one thing that going into this year, Nikki was the first kid that I brought into our program because I knew she was going to be one person that was going to make our program and make our school better. And the reason that we've had success the last 5 years and finished this year as the best athletic female program in the country, finishing 7th in the nation, was due to a great recruiting class and a great individual helping lead that program in Nicole Chahowski from Rockford. Like I said, carries a 3.5 grade point average, and just really is an individual who people want to play with, want to be around. I trust her to babysit my kids, which says a lot. But really kind of makes a difference in coming back, after she would leave the school. And that's the one thing that you want from an athletic team and an athletic program is not just a team. You want to build a program and the people that make that program special and the people that come back 5, 10, 15, 20 years later to be around that athletic program and wear a GRCC sweatshirt and a shirt proud when they're an adult and represent that school to their fullest. And that's the one thing that I'm sure Nicole, going into next year and throughout her life, will be a proud representative of our GRCC athletic program and our GRCC athletic volleyball team. So proud to present this award to Nikki Chahowski.
This next award that I'll be handing out myself is going to be going to a young man that played on our football team, Deshaun Bird. Deshaun Bird is an outstanding student, but not only that, but an outstanding individual. He's the kind of person that I would trust with my family. I would trust him with the school. I would trust him with anything that I own. That's how trustworthy this individual is. He's not only that, but he's also a leader. And he's a person that I think down the road is going to be reckoned with as far as in a leadership role. He's going to be an outstanding individual that is going to go very far. He will also be leaving us this year, and he will be heading to Arkansas State, and that's going to be our final destination. He doesn't know that, but I do. See, sometimes you become mom and dad while you're here in this role as well. So today, Dad has spoken, and that's where my son shall go. So without further ado, Deshaun Bird. This last award that I have in my hand here is for the Huntsberger Award. It's for a faculty member that shows outstanding qualities and leadership. And without a doubt, as I walked around and talked to all of the faculty in my building, who would they recommend? And this individual that they recommended is Mike Roach, who is our athletic trainer. But Mike cannot be with us because we've got a 2 o'clock game time. So I will take this award up to the game field and make sure that I give that to him. I just want to say thank you again to the staff up here, and we've appreciated everything that you all do for us. We've appreciated the patience from the administration and the support from the student body as well. Thank you.
At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce Dan Zur, Food Service Director, to the stage to present the Creative Dining Services Awards.
Good afternoon. On behalf of Creative Dining Services and the entire GRCC campus dining team, it is an honor to recognize the two recipients of the 2012 CDS Student Scholarship Award. To present these awards, I would like to introduce my executive chef and kitchen supervisor, Miss Nancy Rutledge.
Each year, Creative Dining Services presents a scholarship award to the student or students that we believe exemplify the core values of creative dining, which are integrity, creativity, flexibility, sensitivity, and family. The two young ladies who are the recipients this year are Miss Shantae and Miss Rosie. They started with us in the fall. They've been wonderful additions to our staff. Rosie is a nursing major and Shantae is majoring in psychology. So we wish them the best of luck.
Next, I would like to invite Vince James, President of GRCC Cares and my parliamentarian of Student Congress, to present this year's Martin Luther King Jr. Award.
Wow, there's a lot of people here. I'd first like to start off by saying thank you to these two lovely ladies to my left, Tanya, President of Student Congress, and Whitney, for all they've done this year for student leadership and putting on this event. As you all know, I'm here to present the Martin Luther King Jr. Award. The Martin Luther King Jr. Award is presented to a current student at Grand Rapids Community College who exemplifies the spirit of Martin Luther King through community involvement and campus service, seeking to bring change and to promote the philosophy of Martin Luther King. Will the following students who have been nominated come forward to receive their certificate of nomination? The first one is Patricia Turner. And the second nominee is Terrell Charleston. Will you guys once again please join me in congratulating these two nominees? It is now my pleasure to introduce the Martin Luther King Jr. Award recipient for 2012. This year's Martin Luther King Jr. Award recipient is passionate about making a difference in the community and on campus here at Grand Rapids Community College. Through involvement in both Black Student Union and Standout, which is Grand Rapids Community College's Gay and Straight Alliance, the student is making a difference in people's lives. The recipient has been involved in many programs to help promote change and awareness, such as World AIDS Day, which was a program which raised funds for the AIDS Healthcare Foundation, promoted AIDS awareness activities, and offered HIV testing for students here at Grand Rapids Community College. The student has also had an opportunity to make a difference in the lives of several inner-city high school students who are or near failing or dropping out of high school. This recipient mentored several of these students, emphasizing them and modeling the importance of higher education, as well as the other benefits of attending college in hopes of inspiring them to apply themselves and reach their life goals. In the future, this award recipient hopes to pursue a degree in business administration at Davenport University with a concentration on hospitality management. Sorry about that. Tongue twister. Please welcome me in congratulating Terrell Charleston, the 2012 winner of Martin Luther King Jr. Award.
Sorry, wrong person.
get it straight eventually. Okay. It's my pleasure to introduce Brittany Kazakowicz, Secretary of Campus Activities, to present this year's Benham Service Learning Award.
All right. The Benham Service Learning Award is presented to the current GRCC student who has been actively involved and has shown leadership in service learning activities. The student must also maintain a minimum cumulative GPA of 2.5 and will the following students who have been nominated please come forward to receive your certificate of nomination. Travis Sluter and Mariah Williams. It is now my pleasure to introduce the Benham Service Learning Award recipient up for 2012. This year's Benham Service Learning Award winner has been actively involved in service during their time here at GRCC, as well as promoting service to others on campus and in the community. This award recipient first became involved with the service during the anatomy and physiology class, where the class was encouraged to spend time in the Equine Center for Therapeutic Riding. This program provides therapy for those with disabilities through interacting with and riding horses. The recipient said after their initial service experience that my heart and mind were changed forever. From then on, the student has been passionate about the Equine Center and has planned service events for GRC students at this same facility. The student has enthusiastically helped in planning and implementation of service projects that the TRIO program has organized community, as well as participating with many academic service learning events, where it's the nominator. In addition, the student has also served peer mentor for the TRIO Student Support Service Program on campus, where she participates in regular service with programs such as Connor's Night at the Grand Rapids Children's Museum, the Grand Rapids Home for Veterans, and in the Image. After participating in first service learning activity, her passion for service grew. She became a small group leader working with the Equine Center once again, and most recently became a leader with the annual GRCC Pass It Forward event. During this event, the recipient worked at the Literacy Center of West Michigan and was able to involve her family in this great opportunity to give back. She quotes, "It was a gratifying experience that my kids still talk about it today. It is my pleasure to introduce you to this Benham Service Learning Award with Mariah Williams."
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. Bo, do you want your papers or? Okay. I would like to invite Emily Smitter, Communications Chair of Student Congress and President-elect of Campus Activity, to the stage to present the Cedric Ward Leadership Award.
The Cedric Ward Leadership Award is presented to a student who demonstrates outstanding leadership throughout the community and our college and must have a minimum okay, I'm just going to skip that word, a GPA of 2.5 or higher. Will the following students who have been nominated please come forward to receive your certificate of nomination? Candace Bosch, Whitney Cunningham, Brooke Purnell, Sarah Ryder, Samantha C., Travis Sluter, Mike, I'm sorry if I say this wrong, Treese, and Chaka White. It is now my pleasure to introduce the Cedric Ward Leadership Award recipient for 2012. This year's Cedric Ward Leadership Award recipient has grown and developed into a fantastic leader on campus. Like many students, this recipient wasn't expecting to get involved on campus. They thought that they would just go to class and leave. However, all this changed once she joined campus activities. She became actively involved during her first year, volunteering to help out with events and promotions whenever she could, and becoming a great role model to those around her. And she was always giving positive encouragement. During her first year, the recipient also took on the role of co-chairing Finals Relaxer, one of the organization's largest events, and it turned out to be a huge success. After her first year as a campus activities member, she became the president she became on the e-board for this year. This year, the award recipient is president of campus activities. Her nominator expressed that she is an excellent president for campus activities and has stepped up as a leader when the group needed her most. She has done a fantastic job leading the group this year and has encouraged those who may not have otherwise to take a leadership role in the organization as well. The award recipient has also been a leader in other areas, not just campus activities. Last summer, she was a new student orientation ambassador where she was tasked with helping to acclimate new students to the GRCC campus. Her welcoming personality and genuine smile made the students feel very comfortable and excited to attend the college. This student is also a tutor on campus where her patience, kindness, and knowledge to help other students advance in the classroom. In the community, this award recipient is very active in her church community. She volunteers in 3 different area churches where she helps out with retreat planning, organizing meetings, planning social events, and leading retreats for both middle and high school students. This award recipient's future plans are to attend Aquinas College next year in the fall and pursue a degree in theology where she hopes to become a youth minister. It is my pleasure to introduce Whitney Cunningham as this year's Cedric Ward Leadership Award recipient.
That was silly. Okay. Next, I would like to ask Travis Sluter, president of the Gerontology Club, to the podium to present the Jerry Benham Award for staff and faculty. Mike Treese to the podium.
Well, thank you. It's an honor to represent the student body in handing out this award. The Jerry Benham Award is given annually to a faculty or staff member who is actively supporting students' involvement and student development and acts as a mentor and a role model for student leadership development. These award winners are an advocate for students and encourage them to present their thoughts and ideas. This is an especially important honor as the winner is nominated by the students. The recipient for this year's Jerry Benham Award is given to an employee who is encouraging students to reach their fullest potential. The nominator says that this person advocates for both the personal and professional success of his students. As an advisor for the student organization, he is a champion for our success. In addition, he is an outstanding role model as an educator and in his field. This award recipient is passionate and strives for excellence both in and out of the classroom. My personal experience with this recipient is that he's an embodiment of encouragement, and his passion and his field is the impetus for my own success. So please join me in congratulating this year's Jerry Benham Award for faculty and staff to Mr. Mike Faber.
I don't know how the students can be so brave as to stand up here and say anything because I'm shaking. But all I can say is wow, and thank you very much to everyone involved in this award, and in particular to the students in the gerontology program. You know, it's really a two-way street. Those of you who teach know that it's not a one-way street, that we learn as much from our students as they learn from us. And every time we encourage and inspire them, they encourage and inspire us. So I have to thank the students in our program for helping to inspire me and help me to become a better person. I also have to recognize that I don't do it alone, that any ability I may have is a gift from God. So I thank him and I thank all of you. Thanks.
I am pleased to invite Eric Mullen, Director of Student Life and Interim Director of Admissions, to the stage to present our last award of the evening, or this afternoon, the Brian Clute Student Involvement Award. Eric.
Well, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us today. I was reflecting on the opening remarks that Dean Tina Hoxie shared with us about leadership being a responsibility that we accept, and I certainly believe that wholeheartedly. And I think as we hear the stories of our students tonight, as they've performed on the field, the court, in the classroom, through service in our community, organizations, involvement opportunities on our campus, it's no surprise that so many students have accepted that responsibility and done so with excellence. I'm so thankful to be a part of a community that celebrates you, promotes you, and is a part of your development, growth, and education. However, we have to recognize that leadership is never done in isolation. It's always done within the relationships that we have with others. And although we're celebrating so many of you who've done amazing things in your tenure here at GRCC, you certainly have not done that unto yourselves. So I'd like to take a moment to recognize two groups. One, I'd like to ask every member of our staff and faculty community, coaches, advisors, faculty, administrators, board of trustees, presidents, I think I saw him earlier too, please stand up because we'd like to thank you for your contributions and support. And then there's one, I think, even more important group that we'd like to acknowledge and thank today. And those are the people who are closest and dearest to us. Our parents, our partners, our spouses, our significant others, our aunts and uncles if they're here, our children. If you're here supporting someone, please stand up. We'd like to recognize you as well. Thank you. It's now my pleasure to present the Brian Clute Student Leadership Award, and this is presented to a student who has been active and involved in student activities and campus life. The student has had to establish a cross-college interest in campus life, community service, and been helpful in promoting the overall college experience through outstanding citizenship and have a cumulative GPA of a minimum of 2.75 or higher. Will the following students who have been nominated please come forward to receive your certificate of nomination? Ivan Alvarez. Whitney Cunningham. Kendra Jones. Brittany Kazakowicz. Jeffrey Knoll. And Travis Sluter. This is the highest honor that we do give to student leaders on our campus, and I'd like to, I know all of these folks here, and they're very talented, wildly passionate about giving back to their community, and I think it's an outstanding achievement that they've been nominated. I'd like to congratulate them all again. Congratulations. It's now my pleasure to introduce the Brian Clute Student Leadership Award recipient for 2012. This recipient, the nominator who nominated them, says, "He is a remarkable young man who has shown very strong leadership, that serves in the community as an assistant." Oh, pardon me. This is printed front to back. I didn't go there. The nominator remarked that this is a very remarkable young man who has shown very strong leadership skills in both his college life and his personal life. The student prides himself on his firm foundation in leadership, exceptional commitment to community service, and a stellar track record in academics. The student attributes the beginning of his involvement at GRCC with becoming a trio peer mentor, which has also shaped his leadership ability, provided opportunities to participate in community service, and diversified his education while revealing new interests and areas of studies. During his time as a peer mentor, this recipient has organized fundraisers for children in Haiti, coordinated a student organization fair, and promoted numerous campus visits to four-year institutions for students who are involved in the TRIO program. In addition to serving as a peer mentor, the student is passionate about service as a Michigan Service Scholar, which requires a minimum of 300 community service hours in one academic year. The student has led several service events through the Department of Experiential Learning, including, but not limited to, the National Day of Service at the Equine Center for Therapy, the Pass It Forward event, which helped feed homeless members of the community at Park Church, and he has served as the Experiential Learning Liaison to Student Congress, where he's promoted service among our student organizations on campus. While being actively involved on campus, this award recipient has also accrued a very strong GPA, has made the Dean's List, works 2 jobs, and actively serves the community as an assistant scoutmaster in his local Boy Scout troop. In the future, the student hopes to receive a doctoral degree in paleontology. I'll let my son, 9-year-old, who wants to do that too, know about that. It's truly my pleasure to present this award, as I met this year's recipient in his first semester as I taught his CLS 100 Intro to College class. In our class, I was immediately impressed by his positive attitude, work ethic, and willing to help his classmates become better themselves. I'm so pleased to see how hard he has worked here at GRCC, and very proud of his accomplishments in the classroom, on our campus, and within the community. Please join me in congratulating Travis Sluter as this year's Brian Clute Student Leadership Award winner.
Hey, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much.
I apologize. There was one other person that was to receive a nomination for that. It was just a mistake here. It fell out of my pile. But Justin Bull, is he in the audience? Justin, you here? Justin? I apologize, Justin. This got mixed in with some other certificates, but congratulations again. This is an honor that students are recognized for this accomplishment. And again, congratulations, Justin.
At this time, I would like to present the Student Involvement Tribute video. Each year, student organizations do amazing work on campus. This video will highlight some of the wonderful organizations on campus and the work that they have done this past year.
Inclusive. We love our community.
Caring for your community.
Love.
Passion for service.
GRCC cares.
GRCC cares.
The hottest trends, the latest fashion, networking opportunities, Grand Rapids Style, Fashion and Design Club.
Empowering. Universal. Finding out who you are, expressing who you are. Black Student Union.
Environmental awareness.
Real life experience.
Volunteering in your community.
For your environment.
Biodiversity Club.
Biodiversity Club.
The voice for the students.
Our community, our college.
Leadership. Taking the initiative.
Commitment.
Student Congress. Student Congress.
Instilling independence, bringing hope, community engagement, Occupational Therapy Assistant Club.
Creative. Innovative. Real life film experience. For all those who love film, GRCC filmmakers.
We're educating people on aging, social interaction, ongoing learning for our aging community, Gerontology Club.
Entrepreneurs,
Innovation,
creativity, self-motivated,
risk-taking,
creativity, all in an entrepreneurial mindset.
Entrepreneurial Growth Organization. Entrepreneurial Growth Organization.
Digging deeper into German culture.
Eine große Verstehen der Sprache.
Connecting with your roots.
A sense of community.
German Club.
Durchverein.
Diversity.
Diversión internacional.
Global. ISO.
International Student Organization.
Connecting with the Latino community.
Family.
Si tú quieres, tú puedes. Hispanic Student Organization.
Activities on campus.
Enhancing your college experience.
Exciting events.
I love college.
Connecting with others.
Everything's free.
Teasers and good times.
It's a college experience.
Campus activities.
Campus activities.
As you can tell, we have incredibly talented students, faculty, and staff who have accomplished great things throughout this year.
We'd like to thank all of the presenters and congratulate all the award nominees and recipients. Thank you for joining us this afternoon and celebrating the wonderful year we've had.